Specimens are inside of themselves, creating a snow-white landscape. Their geological structure is specific. Alpha of the type has global experience, which is transforms. Genetic flights are monsters.
A recording of some sort. It sounds like a report from some kind of experiment.
You pushed open the heavy wooden door of Wilbert St. Gabriel, the oldest inn in North America, standing 666. This is James Bond. Working here for years, like steadily into another century, especially for bringing built the size, the heaviest here. And they pulled over the down into all of it. Others report tiny footsteps pattering overhead when no one is upstairs. In the dining, places the crash to the floor without warning. And it's a violent with no breath. At once, the witness laid single notes on something. A waiter swears he saw her just for a second. A small girl, so the stained breath, standing near
What was that sound?
flying, lights flickering on and on, and always the same pills just told, but wrong, like you're being watched. The owners don't talk about their money, but they've stopped renting the old upstairs room, and if you ask the staff nicely, they might tell you the sporting you They hid beneath the plastic.
These creatures.
The fire that
It looks like the secretions freezing in the water.
So next time, the bitter get real.
Log entry. The creature's carapace is underdeveloped. If I find a mature specimen, I might
Yes, it's on the 7th of the city. But they're going to song a lot. One. Light down. That's the word. It's putting on human form. Then that into the wall.
This one is huge. It's producing large quantities of that freezing secretion.
The second place. White liquor. And also very good. Elevated. Basic. With no one. Some say it's a hard work. To provide the love of them. We ain't worth Beyonce, we never will. Others might. It's a remnant of something older. Something that predates even the hotel. A spirit tied to the land itself. But here's the twist. The hotel refuses to officially acknowledge the heart. No records, no statements. Yet, no business. Telling the same story. So that you lie in bed and you saw another guy.
There's the brain, and the neural pathways leading to various organs. The cocktail of digestive acids is dissolving local plant life into homogeneous mass. The process seems to be aided by bioelectricity.
Walk past the iron gates of the Greyhound's mother. Now it's become residence for people who are seeking from the outside. The roses, the rose, and the rose.
Data cerebrum seems to be generating an electrical charge.
But there's something is
This gland is secreting the cryogenic fluid that's freezing the water.
Recognize why buried there. And some of them never done. Report your footsteps and sing above them. When they're already on the top floor. Others wait in the middle of the night. The sound of children song of the dogs.
Huh. The appendages are dripping with the fluid that's freezing the water.
Both shadows dark across the hallway. Just coming. One resident swears. The closet door. Then they opened it. It was inside. Suddenly, the wind sat in the hole and it lasts. There's a story about a girl. Starting some block. Always reaching up in the basement. By the darkness of the very night. The woman said instead that eyes open went blind. Rick. I don't know. Even if I could see clearly, others the little damage. I think living on the burden of that sound. The little kid looks like they don't belong to the eyes blind and the heavenly door. The chaos and symbols of the gods still walk its walls. They don't have to be done. Second, we're behind on the The walking the prison land just after sunset. An old neighborhood of Montreal, once filled with Irish immigrants, factories, and blood-soaked secrets. The streets are great by their friends. Again, the boarding house on fire. Her name is never found. And then the 70s, it's so good. It's a one stronger than white dress, so eyes wide. It's still white, with a face, silver stomach. It's a secret of the window. Other pieces of the body is good. And it's hard. It's the innocence within the outside from its corruption.
And This neural pathway is conducting large amounts of bioelectricity.
Inside of it, whispers and voice.
The creature is mixing bioelectricity with whatever it digests to generate an enzyme. And the enzyme is used to create a cryogenic fluid in the cranial gland. So if I take a sample, I might be able to replicate the process.
It's about the system. So you can find yourself in prison and play with time. It's the first mind. Your footsteps.
I might be able to use this to craft some kind of cryogenic device for the MPU. It could help me to get through the worms.
I think you found it, and she'll want that.
Let's see if this device works. It's working.
Psychiatric hospital. In the woods of Franklin. The bank. A rusted stone. This place was just it was a weird. It's a gun.
This way should take me back to the mine.
Investigators want still.
Log entry. I'm detecting strong electrical energy inside the sac. If the protective membrane is hit with an electric charge, it will explode.
Did you ever hear the lullaby of that rusted marathon? Said someone will not get into the way.
Oh my god, okay, that was bad.
It's not just a glimpse or a shadow. Witnesses describe him clearly short, fast-moving, and furious, darting between the trees, dragging the burlap sack behind him. Some believe he was a thief from the 1800s, caught and beheaded by angry townsfolk. Others say he is a cursed soul, forever doomed to wander without rest, searching for something lost, or someone to find. Once they can recall the searching for. Right while moving to the next. Getting faster, right. Stop it, you're
Voice.
wander off the road. If you hear it, so no matter how gentle it sounds, don't follow. So I think at some point it was inevitable that we would go out there and talk about this. Because it's getting kind of worse for the Vancouver Canucks. But that's only if you're looking at this piece right here. Things could be looking better, but I guess we gotta wait and see. But right now, we are taking a look at a negative Vancouver Canucks update, courtesy of The Athletic. Because earlier this week, the folks on, I think it was Dom Sessions' model, they went out there and posted the NHL contract efficiency rankings of 2025. This article essentially ranks all 32 NHL teams by how well they're spending their money. And it has a whole bunch of calculations as to the players and how much they cost. It also has an analysis on how much they should cost based off of how well they perform. And Vancouver, they had themselves what was the fourth best NHL contract spending in the league a year ago.
Quarterly pricing is on now. Where you pay, I'll be there. You can get my price on this page. Our price. Our price. It's a great.
This year, they're down there to 22. So, 17 teams. The Vancouver Canucks in the rankings here. We'll dive into the graphic, and honestly, like, I'm not going to lie, the majority of this video is probably just going to be looking at this graphic, zoomed in, of course, so we can see all the numbers. But you can see one of the small excerpts here. There were a few people who wondered on Quinn Hughes' deal when the best contracts list dropped, and the only reason for the omission was the term remaining. Isn't that 9.8% positive value probability is still really good? I would assume it's with the best in the NHL. The really just the ridiculous thing that they would do last week. The best of the not because he's not valuable, such as the sport, is replacing So let's dive into the Vancouver Canucks and the Canucks. Is there so the Vancouver Canucks are ranked 16th in the approximate value of $53%. $1 surplus. Which essentially means that if you add up all of the players and their value here, there is a possibility that
Shit. That hurts.
value.
I know my ice cream. Oh, I do it.
Surplus value. Is that correct? Yeah, 6 folks. And the social work and all the over 4 to 7 years. What's the future like that? Side there, comes the walk too. There's also providing service
Save animal.
It's regular $1,000. Once that up, multiply it with 3 sales performing home, and it is why this is where something surplus contract value on the listed. So Anderson, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. So, last year at the so, already there's some negative value there, but worse than what its real contract is. Multiply that by 7 years, and you have a negative $8.3 million in surplus. A huge contract for the 40. And then Brock Besser is even worse because, yes, the disparity is Brock is possessing a guy, but he's making 7.3 million surplus value in the negatives of Brock. Multiplied by 7 years, it was a D-plus contract with an $11.6 million negative surplus value. Man, we're seeing that number a lot. 11.6 for Elias Pettersson's regular cap hit and negative 11.6 for Brock Besser's surplus cap hit on the Vancouver Canucks roster. That is not good.
This is a healing recharge from the 50 to 80. Stretch and engage effectiveness, transfer monsters, being 25% of extra resources. Ooh, that would be very handy. Yeah, true.
Your first steps to culture, we all hope to do.
Fuck, let's do the shit out.
Surplus value. I mean, it's crazy. The guy's making $7.9 million on his regular contract, but the model has him at 13.8. It has him as one of the most highly paid should be players in the NHL. And multiply that out by 2 years, you have yourself $11.9 million surplus. He's fantastic. Marcus Petey has some good value as well. They have only $6.3 million. That's actually pretty good. Here's one actually has negative surplus because his model value is $7.2 million, but he's really $30. So I think one of these really close. You don't have to be fine. Get what you paid for the sources of the fine there. Kind of fair in his surplus value. Derek Forward has barely negative value, like Phillips. So the decor is just kind of normalized, but Cleveland's been so above and beyond everybody provides a lot of value there. In Netbatcher Demko, he's listed as an $8.1 million model value guy, but he's making $7.6 million, so there is $2 million in surplus there, $500K over 4 years. Kevin Langton is making a lot more than what his model value is projected as. They see him as a $2.2 million guy, which I think is really harsh, honestly. I think Langton had played a lot better than a $2.2 million if you capped it with his slide. So the $4.5 million, we'll see whether or not that actually gets justified over the next 5 years. But it's why this score plus as well. So this is really not a good assessment for the Vancouver Canucks. In particular, it's Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, and Kevin Langton that are really dragging this team down in terms of surplus value over the next 5 to 7 years. And if we go back over to the Canucks subreddit, you'll read some of the comments over here pretty much saying the same thing. Pettersson and Besser really hurt the Vancouver Canucks in analytical view. Besser definitely didn't play like a 7. Y'all already know the drill. We are out here waiting for YouTube to... Oh, there you go. It's actually good now. Let's publish this video, and then we will go out there and post this tweet at 3:09 p.m. But now, I don't have to think about the Vancouver Canucks anymore. Let's go out there and talk about the Rivers, because has there been some discourse on
Spin right there. And you figure out how to get to it.
The Edmonton Oilers.
I hope you're enjoying this game so far.
Trapping on Toronto for huge contracts handed out to Marner, Matthews, Tavares, and Nylander. No. Marner is gone from Toronto. And John Tavares took a big discount, so there is no anymore for the Maple Leafs.
Fuck, Al.
There is another center. Delta defenseman stacking up on the go. Unexpected. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Darnell Nurse, and Evan Bouchard, who's gone out there with a $10.5 million contract for the next 4 years, through the end of 2028-2029. This is a guy who got paid such a high amount of money because the Oilers were scared of any sort of an offer sheet that could have been on the table. It was already talked about that, yeah, they were kind of freaking out about that. So they just said, screw it, we'll give you 10.5, here you go, you're worth it anyways in our eyes. Evan Bouchard is 25 years old, and he's coming off a 67-point in 82-game campaign. Now, that might not be as good as the 82 points in 81 games the year prior, but he still produces a lot in the playoffs. Just look at the playoff production he's had over the past few years. 23 points in 22 games last year, or not last year, this previous year, 32 points in 25 games the last year, 17 points in 12 games the year before that. Evan Bouchard has been a power play quarterback, somebody who is really the perfect complement to McDavid and Draisaitl's power play opportunity. Bouchard's great, but he leaves a lot to be desired in his own end. There was always an issue with Evan Bouchard. It's why even back in the day, concerns with Evan Bouchard, and then type in Letterbox 99. Can we find our old video of it?
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And to be honest, I mean,
What the fuck am I waiting? Oh god!
And that's the subject of today's video. Out there, talking about some shots, so he's got these problems, he's not very defensively, this and that and the other thing. It's from the NBC show published by David Trabos that dives into an ex-NHL veteran who's ripping the Evan Bouchard signing. If you want to win, that is not the guy.
I hate trolls. But they're both dead, so.
Who exactly
All this were
is
that. Okay.
talking about that made these comments? Well, it's none other than former NHL defenseman James Wisniewski. There you go. Wisniewski, well, he's got it for quite a while. He played in Anaheim, he played in Carolina, he played in Chicago, and with the Islanders. He's an NHL veteran. And he maxed out at 51 points in 75 games played with the Blue Jackets in 2013-14. Quite the achievement there for the now retired 41-year-old. But James Wisniewski made himself an appearance on the Empty Netters podcast, going out there and talking about the Oilers and this Evan Bouchard deal. Let's zoom in so we can get a better look at it. Is that too close of a look? Yeah, that is. Let's zoom out. This is what Wisniewski says about Evan Bouchard and his contract. I don't think that Bouchard is at $10.5 million. I don't think that's the right play. If you want to effing win, then it's not the guy you're going to sign to go to the next level. And I'm not taking credit away from him by being like a really good offensive defenseman. There needs to be enough intense kind of really struggles. But you're struggling. So it's not that good other than that. Sign a $5 million contract to give you $5.5 million for a sit-down guy. Now you've got 2D for the price of 1. Now, that is a really interesting way to think about it because I think it's a lot easier to just say in theory.
Shit.
It's like unattainable out of most NHL players, I feel. Wisniewski doesn't do it. Literally had to be Ray Charles who learned to not run that hospital in Edmonton. Okay, now, I get it. Yeah, no, I get it. I get his point. It's like, I'm sitting here saying that Bouchard is one of the best power play defensemen in the NHL, but you also have to ask if Bouchard is opening up out there with big feature McDavid and Garside, would he still be as effective? Probably not. He's still good, but how good? That's the question. Ray Charles couldn't run this power play. But it's respected in himself, the legend himself, Ray Charles, but still, that's a really interesting point there. All the team has to do is get the puck to McDavid to rip a one-timer shot, Wisniewski said, and that's not $10.5 million a year. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not talking Bouchard, I'm talking about the contract for the team. He's an unbelievable player. I'm just talking about for the team, it's not good. I'm just saying for the team, for the money, to win, I don't know if that's what's best. Co-host Dan Power said the smartest thing he could have done after this year like a final in Florida was to trade Bouchard when his value was high. Wyshynski agreed, saying the Blues could have brought in somebody else who could do his power play job at half the price. You sign Evan Bouchard, but you can't sign Corey Perry for $2 million. What was that? Corey Perry might have been their best forward in the playoffs. I'm like, I just don't understand. Now, let's go out there and dive into some of the other takes here. I mean, this is what Staples goes out there and writes. He responds to the Bouchard comments. I'd be lying, David Staples writes, if I said I'd never considered whether the Blues would not be better off bringing in a cheaper power play specialist. Moving up Bouchard and using the cap space elsewhere. I'll suggest that if Stan Bowman didn't consider such a move, he wouldn't be doing his job. That said, I'm thrilled that Bouchard is back in Edmonton for 4 more years. In his last 2 playoff seasons, he put up a bunch of points. That's Hall of Fame level production. With all due respect to Wisniewski, he is undervaluing Bouchard's offensive skill. His clutch playoff excellence 2 years running is tell me about this one. It's pretty bad. I went into that battle with a solid plan. But for us, you're the one who told me to bring ice. You're also the one who told me about switching into Montana. And Joe, you had the game plan of keeping Titan in to slow down the Manectric with the rock tool. Had we not done that, we would have never been able to outspeed it, and the RNG would have been completely different. I owe much of that battle to you two, and goddammit, I respect the hell out of you two right now.
Well, thank you, but there is no real MVP here. Sky started the battle off strong, and even weakened the magnetism. Really severely crippled both major threats. Titan was our only answer to the magnetism, and he performed his job flawlessly. And Mango came in glorious fashion to finish it off. Even our two-party field was crucial. What a glorious battle, folks.
You're bringing tears to my eyes, boys. Real quick, someone has to learn Rock Smash right now. I'm just going to throw it on tight because I never want to look at that shitty mud slap ever again. Besides, if we see another Magneton, Rock Smash is fine. Fair enough, Donald. Obviously, it sucks that our party Pokemon are going to have to learn HMs, but it's not the end of the world. That's Generation 3 Pokemon after all. Exactly. Now, speaking of HMs, let's go get straight. All right, here you go, lady. That's how a real man smashes a rock. Want to see how else I use smash? Jeez, Donald, she must have a migraine because you'd be handing out that Rizatriptan, my guy.
All right, calm down. No one knows what that is.
Oh, told me about it. That was fun. A little forced, but clever nonetheless. All right, quick little double battle here, guys. That gym took us forever. So we're going to be skipping through some of these random trainers we got left. Yeah, can't play real bad. How much you watch this battle, guys?
Good old Joe. I hope a mid-roll actually came on for once. YouTube is so inconsistent with that.
All right, yeah, that battle actually took a toll on the team. Had to go heal up. We'll probably skip through these guys too. And just see through all the big house over here.
All right, let's hear about the rest of the battle.
Yeah, hey, the rocks, the revisiting the old topic. And just because I can't get that freaking gym battle out of my head. You made a good point about how they would go through MVP of that fight. Everyone did their role spectacularly.
I agree, Donald.
That being said, here's something pointing out how if we did not have Mango involved and have the priority staff with the back, all of this would have been for nothing. He was also the only Pokemon alive at the end of the battle, and so was full help nonetheless, similar to the Rock Band situation. He was just always be questionable. I feel like he deserves his praise too.
All right, Donald, that is an absolute downfall. Titan was by far the biggest reason for that battle. As Temple, I know the Pokemon of ours could have done a silver training to that exercise. Sky would have been our next step forward. And we should like, they got like 25% of the benefit. Titan also got the people options off on the next trip. There's the way when Titan is not the other people.
Obviously, was just fine. Because Titan was the biggest if they
No, Donald, you were blinded by the future.
What's this? Oh, you're Arcady? Yeah, stay the fuck away from me, Fatso. Oh my god, I'm excited.
Log entry. Bulbous growths in the creature's back act as storage for enormous quantities of digestive acids. Rupturing them will deal massive damage and incapacitate the creature.
Holy shit! Not only is that the plot for the first season of the anime, but that's also the exact same thing that we've been doing the past couple of weeks. I have no idea. We're following this thing. So that's a very special.
Fascinating creatures aggressive breath. Possibly states 3 actions increased by 7.
That it would be absolutely criminal.
I am planning using alternation and code for itself.
Alright. Well, after that story, I'm okay with the three parts, but I'm going to have to disagree with the next thing
Could be useful.
about the best in battle in the Pokemon anime. That title would certainly have to go with Ash's double battle against the X and Y series. The high pace of that, the amount of the battle, I'll also look at the itself goes into one thing. That cultivates to create an incredible climax to the penultimate gym. Not to mention the physical role that you can predict to go to the size of the fight. Alright, that's it. What do you think? Well, honestly, it's hard to pick a gym battle. I think the two you mentioned were both fantastic, and there were plenty of great battles throughout the rest of the series as well. The best battle, though, for sure, came during Ash's mini Pokemon League tournament. I think the most recent match today is a clear example of that, but even before that, I think there were better battles. For me, it's between Ash's battle against Drake in the Orange Islands, or his battle against Saul in the Sinnoh League. I think I would have to lean towards the Paul battle because it's a stick to battle. But again, hard to choose. T-Shara, you both make some pretty insane arguments there. I still just like the meaning behind the battle against Lieutenant Surge. And I think it's been there to overcome some of the weaknesses and capitalize on the strength. Honestly, I can't blame you for that. Here, let us know what's your favorite battle from the Pokemon anime. Why? The battles against Cynthia and Leon and Master Zace are probably pretty easy ones to go with here, but remember, Ash's run lasted like 25 years. try to get a good one. It doesn't even have to be a tournament battle or a gym battle, or even completely match in the first place. Let us know in the comments and let's talk about it.
Great segue to Garage. But maybe it's finally time to get back to the gameplay. What do you think of that, boys? Yeah, fair enough, Joe. We took care of that house pretty quickly, and we got the Macho Brace, which is a great item to train a competitive feud. But I'm not really going to care to put it on anyone.
Yeah, me neither, but it could exist and thinking about it someday. Maybe we could do that down the line if we do with Lawrence too.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. I think I have to answer these guys some interesting questions for them. I'm a fellow vein after all. Get me. Because we have a listener on.
Oh, okay, no, Joe. It's not because of the listener. It's actually because they are an easy source for a free, repeatable battle without having to figure out the match call system. After we get here, then once more in a few episodes, then once more in episode 2 after that, then they come back to the same spot. Then it just continues moving around in their 3 locations after we beat them. And they are always willing to battle. And eventually, we also get the ambulance coming after the good, so they are a great